So it's the 18th of Adar, 5786, March 7th, 2026. And we're busy, so we'll be there when we can. And it's 71st day of this bitch. Like this. I'm exploring my own way, so check this out.
It's very sad. It's always very sad to come out of the rainforest where it's so lush and where the animals are calling, the birds are calling, and come out and see a swimmer in that field.
Energy will soon be able to trek the river by the roads that service the login. But the jungle has one through the edge before he makes it down. He's tiny butterflies lay their eggs under the skin and then their larvae lives parasites.
They left an egg with pyramids somewhere. I was eating the flesh. Okay, we're going to use the super glue that we bought in order to supplicate the butterfly. Always looking to make it. Una especie de espina.
Show have left the jungle and are entering the final leg of their journey through the agricultural lands.
You don't speak to most people quite rightly. Conscious of images of rainforest and jungle, but here the trees have been cut down, and you've got huge open rainfields.
After 2.5 years, its body finally breaks down, and the mission has balance.
My skin off.
British explorer Ed Stafford and his guide Joe Sanchez were the last leg of their mission towards the entire length of the Amazon.
Ed Stafford. Shot too, man.
Ed will be the first person to complete this 7,000 kilometer journey on foot. In the next 10 days, the pair has to walk just under 400 kilometers to reach the city of Raleigh and the Atlantic Ocean. This will be the end of Ed's epic journey to World War II. They are now covering up to 40 kilometers per day on foot. Ed gives himself a full deadline.
Police plans to the first 10 days to get to the end, so that's what I take when I commit to believe it was going to happen that day.
Every step is a step towards civilization. Word begins to spread internationally that a British explorer is about to complete a kilometer trek. It's not just
it was obvious to me that we could achieve that quite easily. And then I was using communication now.
Ed used to deprecating in his open country. Decides to take a shot.
We just built up onto the electricity line, which I had misread Google as being a road. It's clearly not a road. It was just thick bramble bushes essentially. Some hills following the telegraph to my head. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's not. And when it's not, trees.
After 2 days battling through crazy grass and scrub, they travel into kilometers. After another 2 days in the scrub, they finally break back onto the road. No vans, but no jump for the very last time. Just this dusty track that will then lead to a asphalt highway. They now have only a 300 kilometre route to the coast to complete their journey.
We have to do 108 kilometers in about 26 hours, solid non-stop. 75 kilometers to walk to the beach. At 1 a.m.
Hours from the finish line. Over 7,000 kilometres trekking. In kilometres.
Keep up this big crash like a little stick.
There's the second one. The reading room just descended. Obviously, the physical exhaustion just a muscle wave. And then we can hear the sounds of the waves crashing, and we can smell the salt in the air. Then we ran to this corner and saw the Atlantic. After 860 days of hauling, Ed is entered the record books.
This expedition was like
He's the first person to walk the entire length of the Amazon River. This is the longest jump flight in history. Back in the UK, Ed returns to a hero's welcome. His family sees him on the plane for the first time in 2.5 The traditional people have taken on nature at its absolute best. Nobody else in the world has ever done it because it is incredibly difficult. That's great to living extraordinarily you turn around loss of time, and it's that ability to somehow keep yourself going when everything around from the natural world shakes down. Naive to it in your hand, totally completely utterly mad. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the tried to instill values in me. One value was commitment. And he always said if you start something, then you need to see it through to the end. And that's the one thing that I think really hit home with me. And what I was saying about leading this expedition that I was dedicated to, is a nice thing. Thank you very much. And he joins the ranks of history's great explorers. Just amazing. Returning next Thursday as our new season's show.
That was phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm very like I just couldn't really believe it the first time I saw it. Like, what the fuck this guy went through.
Yeah, and to do it alone. I feel like the guides don't get enough credit on these types of expeditions. Like they should have made the guide a fellow British whatever Explorer Society, but that's not my call. All I know is that guy did it. I wonder if he really is the first person to do it. Meaning, I wonder if there was just some random tribal person who just like maybe they didn't do it in 2 years, but over the course of their entire life they just followed the river the whole time. I don't know. I mean, he's certainly the first document Westerner to do it, and a beautiful story. And you know, the guy who quit on him, that guy kind of sucks. I understand why he left.
At the beginning,
Yeah, I get that.
literally signed up like the whole event was like sponsored. Like they did this thing like to raise awareness for like some charity. I don't know, I forget the name of it, but the guy basically like bailed on like charity and like was there for like I mean he made it like 30 days. It was not bad. But it's like don't commit to like a 2.5 year walk if you don't want to be away from your family for 2.5 years.
Right, and how fair is it to him having a fiance? Like, hey, I mean, at that point, you're going to be gone for 2.5 years. I don't know, marry that bitch right beforehand and make it lock her down, or I don't know. I mean, I would be so pissed off at that guy for leaving. I would literally be like, dude, you signed up for this. My life is now in danger because you aren't going through on your end of this bargain. And there's a very good.
I kind of think the opposite. I think it could have been more dangerous to keep him around. Like the original guy that was with them at the beginning. As soon as they got into like the cocaine gang territory, like the original guy peaced out too.
Yeah, but I understand that. That guy doesn't care about the charity. He probably needs the money more than the charity.
The guy?
Yeah. I mean, he's like living in the middle of a jungle. Like, you know, he doesn't have anything.
No, I mean, he got paid. That's why he like quit his job and just started walking the whole damn Amazon with this guy. Like,
yeah, but he's not like a millionaire. He doesn't have like enough money to retire his grandchildren.
but I'm sure he got paid well for that journey. I would hope and some opportunity maybe after that.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't they? I mean, you're basically reneging on a contract at that point. There's an argument to be made that they could sue you.
Who's gonna sue the guy, the charity, or the guy who left?
Ed Stafford, that guy could say, "Look, I paid you to be the guide, or whatever entity paid him. If it was the charity, whatever, we paid you to do the whole thing, and you did not. So now we want our money back." There's an argument. There's definitely an argument there.
That's the contract.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. And is it really an enforceable contract if you're literally like making this guy potentially die? Like, there's an argument to be made that it's there's a defense that it is unconscionable and thus isn't binding anymore. The fact that Ed Stafford did it, that's one of the great stories of heroism. I love those stories. I love explorers. I, in my own way, feel like I'm an explorer in the digital world. Certainly, I'm not trekking a huge distance, but I am recording a huge amount of life, and that in its own way is definitely an explorer. I'm at like 1,600 days of this bad boy. And when I first started it, I learned about all these different explorers. I would fall asleep to their stories. He's Ed Stafford, someone who certainly could add. Another thing that's interesting to me, these guys, he's in really good shape, but they don't become like super built. Like they, and I understand why they don't have the nutrients. It shows you how much you need in nutrients to get like super bulked up. And the fact that he, I don't know how, I guess they didn't go into it in this documentary, but they didn't say like, how were you able to just not work for 2 years or 3 years or whatever? And like, how are you able to pay all these people? Like, how do you pay them? Do they accept money? Or, I mean, like if you just walk into a random tribe in the Amazon, they don't care about your money. That has no use to them. And shout out to the cocaine guys for not killing him. That's really cool. That was really cool. I wonder what's going through their heads. They're like, look, this guy is walking through here. If we just let him walk through, maybe he doesn't cause any disturbance. If we kill him, then they might come for him. And I'm sure it was more that than let's just straight up kill him. And out of all of it, the thing. Go ahead.
Like his guy, his little like Sherpa, his jungle Sherpa there show, like that was just a sheer coincidence that they ran into that guy, and he was like able to that through like the drug territory, and they had armed guards at some point too. They were carrying guns, so it was just like a miracle basically that you had this guardian angel there.
I love the portagers, the guy you're referencing as the Sherpa guys. I love their stories. I think that they to me are the real heroes, because they're not going to get any glory from this. That guy's going to go back to his village and be like, yeah, I saw the Atlantic Ocean. They're going to be like, cool, what else is new? Like, that's, he's not made a fellow, and he's not, I mean, he's in like the record books, but like, they don't care. You could be like, hey, here's my name in the record books, and they're going to be like, what the fuck is the book? Like, who gives a shit about that? Like, they're just living their lives. More than anything. Exactly. Exactly. It's unfair. The thing that amazes me most of all of that is the fact that the footage is preserved. I know that sounds strange, but to me, you're I have dealt with cameras IRL just from the heat of the desert sun and rain and sunlight and darkness, and preserving video is so difficult to do when the um, elements are a factor. It's one of the major reasons that it's just so much easier to do desktop streams as opposed to IRL. I would run into issues where my camera would overheat or it would get rained on. Now I'm using like iPhones and stuff, so like they're not as, but I would use GoPros as well, and sometimes a GoPro just crashes on you. With that being said, for this guy to be able to preserve all that film is incredible. The fact that he didn't break his camera, the
Going through 4 feet of like water.
Exactly. Exactly. He's got ants everywhere. Like, who's to say just like one ant doesn't get into the casing of that camera? Um, what about like, I imagine he's doing it digitally with like SD cards, but like, what if they get corrupted? What if, they get wet or they break or, imagine the guy, the portager, instead of dropping the bag with the talc and the bug spray, he like forgot the data cards. Like then nobody. I'm not saying. Well, exact. And I really empathize with that. One of the reasons why I'm on so many different streams is I would do something cool, or I would whatever it would be, and the camera would the application would crash on me and I'd be like, oh no, I wanted that footage so badly. So then I started carrying multiple cameras. Then I started using GoPros. But even still, like the the fact that like your camera could, like the film could go down, or in my case the stream, or in his case just to lose the film or break your camera, yeah, it's just heartbreaking. And so I really would want to know what kind of camera he was using. I know he started that journey in 2008. Like GoPro wasn't founded until the mid 20 teens, 2010. So I don't really know.
The first thing that crossed my mind was how the hell he kept the battery charged.
That exactly. At 100.
Go to the fucking
100%.
village and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna plug in my fucking stick here with this. Like, where? You're in the middle of the jungle. There's not like any electricity.
Exactly. I imagine he had solar like chargers, but even then that wasn't very popular. They also make kinetic chargers where like you turn a crank and it can generate electricity, which that can work as well. But yeah, I don't know. I want to look that up. What kind of camera he used, and like you said, and it's exactly right. What would you do in a case where you're like 4 feet in water and you've got a camera? Yo, dog, the explorer Ed Stafford, he used a camera, and how did he keep the camera charged? And also, how did he store the video? Was it on digital film or whatever when he walked the Amazon? Like this to me is almost as
Solar technology.
oh, so he did have GoPro cameras. Oh, maybe GoPro has been around longer than I'm giving it credit.
We had a solar setup and satellite internet with it. So you could upload.
Oh, 2002.
vlogs into the-
Apologies. I thought it was more recent than that. Okay, so he had GoPros, handheld video cameras during his Amazon trek and other survival shows. For the Amazon expedition, he relied on a Canon XF100 HD camera and GoPros mounted on his head or placed in fixed positions. To keep the camera charged, Stafford used solar chargers and portable power banks, which were essential for long stretches without access to electricity. He also managed battery life carefully by filming only key moments and turning off devices when not in use. Video was stored on digital media, not film, specifically on SD cards and internal memory in the cameras. After completing the Amazon journey, he edited the footage on a MacBook and uploaded it online, sharing real-time updates with fans. Despite limited technical training, Stafford learned quickly, turning self-filming into a storytelling skill. His ability to capture both survival challenges and emotional moments made his documentaries compelling and authentic. Yeah, phenomenal. Um, Even doing that kind of filming couldn't have been really done without GoPros or that kind of. But I guess he used a Canon. But like that one documentary we saw, those Canadian guys who like canoed the Mississippi and then the Gulf of America or whatever, and then to the mouth of the Amazon. They didn't have footage. They just did interviews, right?
At the start, no, they had footage.
Yeah, but they didn't have footage of them like canoeing on the Mississippi.
Oh no, the city Manitoba one had like zero footage,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is why it sucked.
Well, I don't know if it sucked. It was, but that happened during the '80s. So like basically, you couldn't tell this kind of story as easy. It would had to be on film, and you just wouldn't have had films heavy in it. You have to keep it preserved, and it's like very light, sensitive. So like to tell these stories, you just couldn't do it. Um, I loved that. I really did. I thought that was a really good documentary. Do I like it more than the guy who swam? That guy was just really charismatic, and I really liked his story. That one was really interesting. Um, which do I think is more difficult? I would say probably walking, because once you're a good swimmer, well, the swimming guy could like take a break on the boat, and not saying that's not hard, but that's just like it's not like swimming becomes any more difficult once you're in the water and you can swim for long periods of time. Not saying that's easy, but it's not like the water becomes denser like the forest does. Another interesting thing that I found from that documentary is how the Amazon starts, where they're like,
Well, let's debate which one's more difficult.
it's easily walking.
Also, the guy who could float down. I mean, he could just float with like the current technically. Like he could do it in like a lazy river raft or something. He was definitely swimming with the current, but
That's true.
still just swim 50 kilometers a day. He has to train for years and crazy conditioning. Yeah, I think how does danger play into the role of toughness? I mean, if we're just talking about physical difficulty, I mean, with walking, you take breaks too, and you're steadying, and you have to deal with like swampy shit, and your legs are getting tired as hell. With swimming, though, it's still like I don't know if you've ever swam like a fucking like lap in the pool.
It's difficult.
It's exhausting.
It is absolutely exhausting.
Really exhausting.
I agree with you. The thing is, that guy had more support. He had his son there or his family, like members of his family there. And if he ever got tired, he could just get on the boat. Like you saw, he was like drinking alcohol in the middle of it. Like he was someone who not like at any given time they were on the river, they could get him like I well water doesn't do as much to the body repetitively as walking does. Like the Ed Stafford lost what 5 toenails or whatever. He had like the flies in his head. He had the danger that was certainly the drug dealers and stuff that the drug people and the loggers and stuff. Like the other guy, he just had to stay on the water. If he ever got tired, he could just get on the boat. If he was ever sick, he could just get on the boat. Like he had more support. The other guys did not have that. The Ed Stafford.
There's more life in. Yeah, no, if we're just talking about like pure danger. I mean, the guy in the Amazon River, I'm surprised he
not like my dad when I told him this, he was like, "How the fuck did he not get eaten by a crocodile?" I think that's or a piranha, or the like thing in the Amazon River that swims up your urethra, or like the water like give you a horrible disease or something, and that's constantly around your mouth. Or you could get like floating logs, like they had to navigate the guy in the dark from like floating logs. There's plenty of danger there, but in the walking thing, there's also just like an equivalent amount of like endless amounts of danger, whether it's like us from just walking, vipers, cartels, like and like no food, just starvation.
Yeah, that was the thing.
So,
The swimming guy always had food. They never were like, we're running low on food. He had beer. So,
yeah, the biggest problem is running out of beer.
right. And there was just more support there. The lack of resources for Ed Stafford, that would be a major issue. The lack of support, like medical support, and just like not getting the other guy killed. Like when that other guy was just like passed out or whatever, if it hadn't have rained within the next couple days or whatever, that guy is probably dead. Another interesting thing about Ed Stafford, they had to climb mountains. They had to climb over the Andes, which is no small feat. Even seeing like human skulls and like that'd be incredibly difficult. And I think referenced enough. Another thing is they didn't have like they didn't have supply chains or anything. Like they had to take everything with them. So I think it's a much bigger accomplishment what Ed Stafford did than the other guy. But the other guy, he's cool in my book too. What was really interesting to me is how the Amazon starts. It's not like it starts with the Amazon. It's not like that's the start of the river. It's not that way. Like the Nile comes from Lake Victoria, and it's like the Nile. There's like the upper Nile and the lower Nile, and there's the blue Nile and whatever. But like it's all like the Nile the whole way. But the Amazon's not. It was another river. And just how it starts, they like come down from the mountains and there's like a waterfall. It's like a little trickle. And this trickle will eventually become like producer of like some of the most amount of fresh water in the world. And it was fascinating to me as well that the Amazon actually goes underwater, or pardon me, underground for some amount of time, and then comes up and it becomes like a marsh. And and it's still not known as the Amazon then. Like it is only further down the waterway that it becomes known as the Amazon. It's like another river. It's absolutely fascinating to me. And I'm really surprised. Well, another big issue that we didn't reference is the rainy season. Like the with the swimming guy, if the rainy season comes up, it's no big deal. He's swimming. But the other guy, they could drown. You know what I mean? They or like be definitely underwater.
Or I don't know if you missed it or heard it, but they mentioned like there's like literally electric eels in like the forest, in, like their little knee-high water.
Right.
And there's enough volts to knock you out and like make you drown.
Right. Did you see the size
I'm
of?
sure there's probably electric eels in the Amazon River too.
Yeah, I think with the fact,
Like,
I think the fact that the swimming guy had a boat near him scared off a lot of stuff.
possibly,
Like the
dolphins in the Amazon River apparently.
oh yeah, for sure. They swam with the swimming guy, dolphins, and
Well, yeah, I guess that's where I learned about that. But I looked up a picture on the internet, like,
yeah, the there's I even think the swimming guy would say, look, I swim every single day. I swam in wherever, Serbia or whatever fucking Balkan country that was, Croatia or some shit, and some Slavic country, and he was used to swimming, and it's swimming doesn't change. It's the water doesn't get denser. It's not like he has to go upstream. He just has to do a certain amount every single day, and the fact that if he's able to do that, then he's going to be fine. And if you swim in the middle of the river, you're not going to have to worry about logs generally. You're not going to have to worry about, you have to worry about some stuff certainly, but
I mean, you have to worry about logs.
dude,
but
hold on a
that-
second.
that's fodder.
Hold on a second. That guy who was swimming in the Amazon, he had like a net around him. That's why he didn't have to worry about piranha and stuff.
When did he have a net around?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
He did not have a net around him. I did not.
Wait, you may, I may be mistaken. I may be thinking of somebody else. The guy who swam the Amazon, did he have a net at any point around him? I might be thinking of like shark divers or something. Martin Strel. He did not have a net around him during the swim. Instead, the support team used buckets of blood to distract predatory fish like piranhas when necessary. So he faced threats like piranhas, bull sharks, venomous snakes, including a bushmaster, parasites, river pirates, and drug runners. His escort boat carried a medical team, riflemen for protection and supplies, but no net was used to enclose him. Maybe I'm thinking of
No, the other thing, like an anaconda could have just at any time just taken this guy away. Like, never be heard from again.
You know what I'm thinking of. Somebody swam from Cuba to the United States, and she had a net. Wait, hold on. She did it without a shark cage. Okay, maybe.
The guy in Florida was like also like going like somewhere in like the Dominican on like a hamster ball in the middle of something water, and then I think with the authority like cut him down, and it was like 50 kilometers out. He was like, "Man, I'm just going to my hamster ball. Come on, don't put down the party."
Longest distance swam with a net around you. I saw somebody, and apologies to Martin Strel. Oh, this is it. Susie Maroney. She did from Isla Mujeres, Mexico to Las Tumbas Beach, Cuba, in the Straits of Yucatan. She was protected shark cage. Anyway, I have seen some, okay, so that guy, so they had to drop buckets of blood. Yeah. Okay. Back to Ed Stafford. That guy, he has an incredible story. Yeah. One thing that they said that I didn't agree with, they said the caiman was the biggest predator in the Amazon, but I would think that it's the anaconda. Like anacondas can weigh like super heavy. They can be really heavy. Do you remember that?
Remember what?
They
Anacondas being around?
No, they said in this documentary that the largest predator in the Amazon was the caiman, which is like that alligator thing. But it,
Oh yeah, they did say that, but yeah, no, anaconda. They may have said some other word. But no, it sounded like maybe they said water creature and anaconda is like more of like a land creature than qualifying.
Oh no,
But
it's
still
both.
probably be less large. I mean, 12 feet long. I don't know how long those dolphins are. Fucking anacondas are way longer than 12 feet.
Right. Well, I was thinking by weight.
Yeah, the risk of being eaten by an anaconda while swimming is virtually zero for an adult.
Oh, maybe the what's heavier? What's heavier, the caiman or the anaconda? Adult. Maybe the caiman, black caiman and green anaconda are both apex predators in the Amazon basin, but they differ significantly. Oh, black caiman is way heavier. So it is larger. The black caiman, the largest member of the alligator family, it can reach up to 1,100 pounds, and the green anaconda is only 154 pounds. So, like, the black caiman's way heavier. So they're right. The black caiman is the largest by weight. So that's accurate.
Man, I thought an anaconda would be way more than that.
I did too. I thought it would be like, because it eats like cows and
Because
stuff.
the largest anacondas can weigh over 500 pounds.
Yeah, but even the largest, the black caiman can reach 1,100 pounds. So like even the biggest anaconda is like half the size of a large black caiman.
No, that's still like bigger, or yeah, 500 is bigger than 150.
Yeah, well, I agree. Exceptional individuals may reach 215 pounds, with some rare claims of up to 500 pounds, but these are unverified and likely exaggerated. Nevertheless, they get so long, you would think that they'd be heavier, but I guess they're not. And it really surprises me how heavy a black caiman is. Dude, that part with the spider monkey, that was kind of sad. I understand though, like that's what they do. They just like they had like a spider monkey, they ate the mother, and then we're just waiting for the baby spider monkey to get big enough. And I thought it was really interesting what Ed Stafford said when he's like, it's just like eating anything else, like, but it's so human that, but then it's like, you're starving and you have nothing else to eat, so do what you have to do. I get that.
Now, the most disturbing part of that to me was like they had this shot. I don't know if you saw it, but I don't know if it was the mother or another monkey, but there's like a dead monkey with a spike in its chest, and the monkey's just dead, and then a little baby monkey is tied up like a few feet away from it.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
That not be psychologically good for the monkey.
Agreed. And and he even said the people there didn't give it a second thought. It was just about survival.
Yeah. No, that was the other my crazy thing. You see it in big riverman too, or like travel vlogs or whatever. People like go to Peru or Colombia or Brazil, but the lifestyle of people that are living in like the jungle is just so radically different from the way we live.
Completely.
The food that they eat and just everything is just like much more primitive.
Absolutely. And there's like no excess of anything. There's like no sugar. There's like no cattle. It's like you are eating you live your life to find your next meal and to eat it. And it's amazing to me that those people are humans. Like you take that person, and if you give them education and everything, they'll be like a doctor. But like that's what we are. Like if I wasn't born, or you weren't born in a modernized Western culture, and you just put you or I put you or me in a tribal environment, That's us. We're like eating spider monkeys or like that's just it's wild that those are humans, and that's just wild to me. That's absolutely wild to me that like
I don't know if you watched the Joe Rogan episode where Dave Chow was on, but he was telling Joe about how he had gone to like this remote place in like Tanzania to live in this tribe called like the Hamza tribe, and there's only like 1,000 of them left or something, and literally like they're all it's tribal. They hunt together. They don't wear pants. They like like kill monkeys, and they're running through the forest barefoot, like in tip-top shape, like hunting with bows and arrows and shit. And Dave Cho like got them. He like gave them like paintbrushes and stuff. So, like the kids, because like the adults were out hunting, and they said, "All right, one day I'm gonna go kill the kids." So he hands them these like paintbrushes, and they do like this artwork and on like the paper or whatever. And he's like looking at the artwork, and he's like blown away like how pure and like creative their artwork is, because they've like obviously never really experienced any like art supplies before, and so you just get like this raw, unfiltered child in Tanzania that's just like completely isolated from the rest of the world, and like you're like, man, like I could like take this art and like make a little like gallery and like show it to people like what the art is, and then like the kids, they just like took their little like art and they like just ripped it up and like tore it up and threw it away into like the wind. And because like the way that they live, they're just like on to the next thing. Like,
right.
like, oh, we made it. That's cool. I'm just gonna destroy it and go on to the next thing. They're just not concerned at all about any like attachment. It's like, oh, what's the like correct frame size for this so I can preserve it and have all these people examine it from all their like different angles.
Such a lack of permanence or even care about permanence or preservation. It's incredible. And literally, you take one of those kids and you give them an education and the proper nutrition and stuff, and they'll be a doctor. And in the same way,
crazy thing, he was also saying like, oh, like what do you? It was like something he brought up, like, what do you think of like America? And then they saw like these people that are naked, living in the jungle, and like hunting monkeys. They're like, oh, like, Americans, those people are crazy. Like that's there's people there that like kill themselves, and like just the thought of someone killing themselves at all to them is just like insane. So they look at our culture like we're just lunatics.
that's fascinating.
They're like also like extremely happy and just like joking around constantly, and like they don't have cell phone, internet shit. So like the only way to keep themselves entertained is like they're joking around naturally, like organically without any internet stimuli. It's a very different way of life.
Absolutely fascinating. Well, thank you for showing that. I really enjoyed it, and it makes me appreciate life more. And I'm glad we watched that one. We'll watch the Bear Guy some other time. And with that,
I don't mind watching the Bear Guy one either.
Excellent.
Next time.
Sounds like
You're just like not down with the Enron one, but yeah, I don't even really know the story. I don't want you to spoil the story of Enron, but because I really don't know what happened. I was also watching Joe Rogan today, and he was interviewing this. I don't know if you saw it. It was like published like 4 months ago, and he was interviewing this former, like one of the top like CIA people, and the guy is known basically for being a whistleblower on
like calling out the CIA for using torture methods on people that they capture. Have you seen that?
Was it the guy? His name's like David Coxick or something.
Yeah, his name is like John Apollucci.
That guy. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. That came on my feed about 5 hours ago, and he's the guy who took over for Mike Baker in Greece. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I just know that. I just know he's like a CIA whistleblower, basically. And yeah, I was listening to it for an hour earlier, and it's fascinating. Like the CIA is not happy that he blew the whistle, and then like the head of the CIA guy, like Brennan something or whatever, did not like it at all, and they literally like the second person ever to get convicted of going against the Intelligence Agency something Act of 1982. And they were trying to get him, throw him in jail for like 45 years, and he had to like speak out of that, and they still made his life hell.
Wild shit, big dog. All right, Biggie Smalls. I've got some stuff to do. Come back again soon. I know you will, hopefully. And we'll watch the bear guy, okay?
Alright, sounds good.
Excellent, my man.
Later, friend.
Later, skater. Take care. Peace. Oh, man, I think it is. All right. That was fucking fascinating.
You ready, B? Let's go get it. You don't want to do this. I was thinking about maybe I should start taking Shabbat off, but I don't know. It's just repetitive. But I'm sure there's beauty in repetition. There's strength in repetition. There's strength in repetition. I don't know. No one really knows for sure. Elevate Elu, Divrei Elokim, Chaim. But this is the Mazor we live by. The thing is, I don't have to just do this again 5 hours. Once we hit 100 days, we're going to do something. We'll change something. I got 99 Zarisan, but a bitch ain't one. Chillazone, Murex trunculus. Sounds like a Pokemon. That's a fucking fish, or it's really a snail. Golus is Jewish diaspora or exile, particularly the state of living outside the land of Israel. Chachma, Bina, Da'at, wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Chalaf, knife. Shechita, slaughter. Shochet, slaughter. Badika, examination or inspection. Chalaf, the instrument or surgical sharpness used to perform shechita. Halakha, the body of Jewish law. Halakhic, in accordance with halakha, kosher, correct, fit, appropriate, according to the laws of Judaism. For instance, kosher food. Nevela, an animal that was not slaughtered by shechita. Shechita, the Jewish religious humane method of slaughtering animals and poultry for food. Shochet, plural, shoktim, the person who performs shechita, qualified with a thorough knowledge of Jewish law, animal anatomy, and pathology, and licensed by both religious and civic authorities. Torah, the source of all Jewish teaching and law, also referred to as the law of Moses. Treifa, literally torn, generally used to denote non-kosher food. Za'ar ba'alei chayim, the Jewish teaching that cruelty to animals diminishes man's own ethical and moral standing, and that it is contrary to Jewish law to cause animals pain or distress. A shochet must be learning the laws of kosher slaughter and adept at sharpening and polishing his knives, known as shtellen, chalef in Yiddish. He also trains under an experienced shochet to learn how to hold the animal firmly, to slaughter it quickly and smoothly. Gay Kaken Afanyam, Black Tits 9, also Bodek as a checker. Do this bullshit. May Hashem bless you and guide you. May Hashem shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. May Hashem lift his face to you and grant you peace. Achen ani medaber ivrit beikar ivrit mekrait av shebo foal anaknu amarim ledaber Yiddish o ulai aramit shegam otan ani yakol medaber b'mida mezuyimet kamal ani ma'adif anglit lakin bo'u medaber anglit zaynishma tov leka. Indeed, as big Hebrew, man, biblical Hebrew, and although in practice we are supposed to speak Yiddish, perhaps Aramaic, which I can also speak to some extent, but I prefer English. Therefore, let's speak English, and that's how I do. Did you like the documentary? Yeah, it was good. It's your favorite one of all time, but it's good. Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Benismecha Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Benismecha Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Benismecha Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Benismecha Uru Uru Achim Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach. Hey, Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Benismecha Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Benismecha Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Benismecha Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Hava Neranena Benismecha Uru Achim Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach Urachim Balev Sameach. Dude, this might be 72 days of this bitch. Really? Who knows? Oh, this shit though. Alright. Summary. One float death still separates Gehinnom, pure Gan Eden, initial spiritual reward, possible reincarnation, spiritual repair, resurrection, body, soul reunited, Olam Haba, perfected embodied eternal world. 5 levels of the soul, nefesh, action, vitality, ruach, emotion, neshama, intellect, chaya, transcendent life force, chida, absolute unity with God. Before the Torah reading, Baraka Lifnei Hakaraya, reader calls. Baruch Hu Ed Adonai Hamabarak. Congregation responds. Baruch Adonai Hamabarak Le'olam V'ed. Person called the Torah repeats. Baruch Adonai Hamabarak Le'olam V'ed. Blessing before the reading. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Venatan Banu Et Torato. Baruch Adonai Noten HaTorah. After the Torah reading, Baruch La'achar HaKaraya. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nota boto keinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Yore he may judge, yadin he may be Yora, he may teach. Yadin Yadin, he may judge. Yatir Bakaro, he may permit firstborns. Torah. Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Nevi'im, prophets, Yehoshua, Shoftim, Shmuel, Malachim, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, Kings, latter prophets, Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu, Yechezkel, Trey, Asar, Hosea, Yoel, Amos, Obadiah, Yonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Ketuvim, writings, Tehillim, Mishlei, Eov, Psalms, Proverbs, Job, the five Megillot, five scrolls, Shir HaShirim, Ruth, Micah, Kohelet, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Devrei HaYamim, Ruth, Lamentations, Ecclesiastes, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Chronicles. Rabbi's teacher, Musmak, is a sovereign judicial authority. This appears to have ended. Peshat, Torah is multi-layered. Peshat, simple meaning, Remez, hint, Dirash, homiletic, Sod, secret. Mishabarak, he who blesses. Kavort, also spelled court, which refers to the basin or bowl used for Nedalat Yudayim. Could be a Kli, could be a Kelly, could be a Negervasser. Kli Rishon, the original pot or container placed directly on a heat source. Food or liquid in this vessel is considered hot enough to continue cooking. Added ingredients, for instance, spices or salt, on Shabbat, which is prohibited. Kli Shani, vessel in which hot food or liquid has been poured from a Kli Rishon. It is significantly cooler and the risk of cooking is reduced. Kli Shlishi, a vessel in which hot food or liquid has been transferred from a Kli Shani. It is even cooler and cooking is generally not a concern. While not the cup itself, the kavort is part of the hand washing set, especially in Ashkenazi tradition. Got all the hats. Not going into those right now. Okay, early systematizer. Share, aura. It's the gates of light. Are you happy? Yeah. Is you happy? Outline, please. All right, folks. What part is do you like least? The Yiddish? It's so repetitive. Really? Yeah. It's good to know. What part do you like the most? When I do debates, those are my favorite.
20R Sha'arei Ora, Gates of Light. Author Rabbi Yosef Gikatilla, date c. 1290. Genre Systematic Kabbalistic Theology of the Divine Names and the Sephirot. Sha'arei Ora is one of the most systematic early works of Kabbalah. It explains the 10 Sephirot, Asel Sefirot, 10 divine emanations through the names of God, showing how the Torah's divine names correspond to different levels of the divine structure. The book is organized into 21. Sha'arei Ora, Gates of Light. Author Rabbi Yosef Katila, date c. 1290. Genre Systematic Kabbalistic Theology of the Divine Names and the Sephirot. Sha'arei Ora is one of the most systematic early works of Kabbalah. It explains the 10 Sephirot, Asel Sefirot, 10 divine emanations, through the names of God, showing how the Torah's divine names correspond to different levels of the divine structure. The book is organized into 10 gates, each corresponding to a Sephira, divine emanation. Outline of Sha'arei Ora. 1. Introduction. Purpose of the book: explain the mysteries of divine names, Shemot HaKadoshim, holy names. The Torah is composed of divine names and their manifestations. Knowing the names allows understanding of the structure of divine emanation. The book is presented as gate, sha'arim, gates that allow entry into deeper mysteries. The 10 gates. Gate 1, Malchut, Malakot, kingship. Primary name, Adonai. Themes, the Shekhinah, divine presence in the world. Interface between the divine and creation. So, temple, assembly of Israel, receives flow from the higher Sephirot. Key idea, Malchut is the manifest presence of God in the world. Gate 2, Yesod, foundation. Primary name, El Sh'ad, living God. Themes, channel through which divine energy flows into Malchut. Associated with covenant, transmission, spiritual connection. Key idea, Yesod is the conduit of divine blessing into creation. Gate 3, Hod, glory, splendor. Themes, intellectual articulation of divine power, associated with prophecy, submission, ritual order. Key idea, Hod represents structured expression of divine truth. Gate 4, Netzach, victory, eternity. Themes, divine endurance and victory, associated with persistence, prophetic inspiration, divine providence in history. Key idea, Netzach represents divine triumph and continuity. Gate 5, Tiferet, beauty, harmony. Primary name, YHVU at the Tetragrammaton. Themes, central Sephira balancing, Chesed, Vorah, judgment, associated with mercy, Torah, Jacob. Key idea, Tiferet represents harmonized divine compassion and truth. Gate 6, Gvura, strength, judgment. Primary name, Elohim. Themes, divine justice and restraint. Symbolizes law, discipline, judgment. Key idea, Gvura represents divine limitation and justice. Gate 7, Hesed, kindness, loving kind name. Themes, divine love and generosity, associated with Abraham, grace. Key idea, Chesed represents unbound divine kindness. Bina, understanding. Themes, the mother of the Sephirot, source of divine comprehension, channel through which the higher realms flow into the lower ones. Key idea, Bina organizes divine wisdom into structured reality. Gate 9, Chokmah, wisdom. Themes, primordial divine insight, associated with intuitive knowledge, the beginning of emanation. Key idea, Chokmah is the first flash of divine wisdom. Gate 10, Kita, Keter, crown. Themes, the highest divine level, beyond comprehension, associated with divine will, unity of all Sephirot. Key idea, Kita represents the unknowable source of divine emanation. Major concepts in the book. 1. Divine names correspond to Sephirot. Each Sephira is revealed through specific names of God. Example, Adonai, Malchut, Elohim, Gevura, YFVH, Tiferet. 2. The Torah is a network of names. The Torah is understood as a system of divine names expressing the structure of the Sephirot. Flow of divine energy flows, Kiddah, Chokmah, Bina, lower Sephirot, Malchut, world. 4. Mystical interpretation of scripture. Biblical terms for God reflect different divine attributes, not separate gods. Example, mercy names, judgment names, sovereignty names. Influence of the book Share Ora became one of the most influential manuals of early Kabbalah. Influenced Isaac Luria, the Ari, later Spanish and Safed Kabbalah, Christian Kabbalah through the Latin translation Porte Lucis. The Ari reportedly said it was the key to understanding Kabbalah. In short, Share Ora is a systematic map of the 10 Sephirot explained through the divine names, teaching how the names of God in the Torah correspond to different levels of divine reality. If you want, I can also show you something very helpful. A visual chart of the 10 gates mapped onto the Tree of Life, exactly as Gikatila structures it. It makes the whole book much easier to understand.
That's okay, period. Please ensure whenever you use a Hebrew transliteration to, in parentheses, put the English translation next to it, or just any Hebrew or Yiddish or any other language, put the English translation next to it. Also, please do not use contractions or hyphens or dashes or whatever. You can use semicolons or something like that. And please remember this information in the future as we partner. Understood. Also, please try not to end a sentence on a preposition, and please remember this information. Cool. Now what? Yiddish. There was a commercial. I don't know what the song is, but they changed it to a green place, and that'll be a thing in the future. Just you watch. All right, Armachai, and something so pleasurable to bring back the Torah rabbits and says after we shtup. However, that's what she says before we shtup. It means if only I wish. Yiddish Shakot, Jewish head. Yenta is a talkative bitch. It's kind of a fetish of mine. Talk less, brass tacks. Basher, that's soulmate. Bashirda is a female soulmate. Bashirda is a male soulmate. Mishmash, I was taking a bath. That's mixture. Buckiss means nothing. Good Yontif means good day. It's like happy holiday. L'chaim, to life. Parv means neutral. Flat kosher. means smooth fit. Mensch means good dude. Mencha should be a thing for female. There's Ashite Chayil, which is a woman of valor, and Zedekas Froy, and perhaps Gittel as well. Skoyak, it is a shortening of Yashar Koach, which is a shortening of Yashar Kokaka, which means may your strength be Oivans of folk. Shtetl, that's a town. Shadel is a wig. Streimel is a hat. Milchig is dairy. Fleischig is meat. Carbs neutral. Hamish, that means homie. Shmata means rags. Shviger means mother-in-law. Chazir means pig in Hebrew. Chazar means to repeat. Shlep means to carry a burden. Meshuga means wow, crazy guy. Gonf means thief. Yomaka, maybe Aramaic for Yare Malka, which is in honor of the king. Treif means torn. Yortzeit means death anniversary. Klutz means wooden block, but it can mean clumsy. Nidalok means matzo ball. Schwitz is the sweat. Schnorr means beggar. Schmutz is like soil, dirt. It's really dirt, grime. Schmooze means to gab, or like to kiss up to somebody. Moms or bastard, benching, blessing. Shadchan, that is a matchmaker. A shidduch is a match. Kvetch means a bitch. Shiva means seven. Maven means expert. Shanda means shame. Chachke means like trinkets. Klotz means to burst. Macher means like an important person. Gvel is like nachas, joy from our children and grandchildren. Balagan. Balagan is a word with a history having come to Yiddish from the Slavic languages, where it was borrowed from the Persians. In common Yiddish and by extension English and Hebrew, parlance balagan is a state of chaos, disarray, and confusion. Related to the English word balcony, the original balagan was a wagon used by traveling performers. Harkavi's 1928 Yiddish English Hebrew dictionary defines it as a show booth or tent. In time, balagan came to refer to anything as wild and disorganized as the traveling stage, not unlike the English word circus. Also used to describe a chaotic scene. The term was so popular among Yiddish speakers that it has even crept into modern Hebrew and American English. The scene of a balagan can be referred to as a chazar stall, pigsty, the equivalent to the English term pigsty. Another term associated with a balagan is hekdesh, sacred space, the public facilities that Jewish communities use to make available to traveling visitors. Since these places would often be left in dismal states of disarray, hekdesh came to refer to any place that appeared to be a balagan. Whither the balagan? Anyone growing up in a Jewish home can tell you that on Friday afternoon, the entire household generally descends into a pulsating balagan. Children are bathing, someone is running the vacuum, all the shoes are lined up on the porch for the weekly polish, and the chicken soup is boiling over. Then comes the magic moment. It's 18 minutes before sunset, and the time has come to light the Shabbat candles and welcome the Shabbat Queen. The house is quiet, the table is bedecked in with a pristine cloth, and the children are sparkling clean. Out of the churning depths of the balagan comes the serenity of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. That's tight. Cool story, bro. Alright, let's watch this fucking video. And then we're done. For like 5 hours, and then we gotta do this shit again. Why? Because Rabbi fell asleep all fucking day. That's what you're supposed to do on Shabbat, right? Yeah. Did we watch Do It Yourself Hanukkah? Pretty sure we did. We watched this fucking 15 times.
Welcome to Jewish.tv DIY. Today we're going to learn how to light a Hanukkah menorah.
Watch it again though.
Here's our menorah. It has 8 branches representing the 8 different nights of Hanukkah. And we have an extra one called a shamash, which we're going to use to light the rest of the candles. There are many different types of menorahs out there, so you shouldn't have a tough time finding a special one for your home. One thing that's important to remember is that the menorah should be in a straight, even line, meaning it shouldn't be in a zigzag. One shouldn't be higher than the next, or in a circle. The shamash, however, specifically should be distinct from all the rest of the candles. In theory, we can use any flammable substance for the Hanukkah lights, but practically speaking, most people use candles or oil. We're going to use oil, specifically olive oil. Since the miracle was performed using olive oil, this is the most beautiful way to perform the mitzvah.
It's true.
Now, where should we be lighting the menorah? As you see, we've placed ours in the doorway leading to the main room of the house. It's also on the left side, opposite to the mezuzah. There's a couple different customs, one being to place it near a window, other people place it there. Either way, it should be between 1 and 3 feet. On the first night, we light 1 candle, placing it on the far right of the menorah. Then we fill it up with oil. We light our shamash. We'll now say our blessings and then light the first candle. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu Bayamim hahem bizman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higiyanu bizman hazeh. On the second night, we light 2 flames. Again, we place our first light to the far right, but this time we add another candle immediately to the left. On the second night, and all subsequent nights, we only say the first 2 blessings. Now this is important. We light the newly added flame first. This means that we light in the opposite direction that we've placed them. The lighting of the menorah follows the same pattern every night. So on the 8th night, we light 8 flames. Again, we add the candles from the right to the left, and light from the left to the right, with the newest candle being lit first. So when do we light the candles? The custom of many communities is to light the menorah shortly after sunset. In other communities, the menorah is kindled after nightfall. Either way, the menorah must contain enough fuel to burn for at least 30 minutes after nightfall. The standard Hanukkah candles only last approximately 30 minutes. If using those candles, then light after nightfall. You can light even later, as long as other people in the house are awake to see. On Friday, however, you must light the menorah before sunset, because you can no longer light the menorah once it has already become Shabbat. For the same reason, you have to wait until after nightfall on Saturday night, when Shabbat is over, before you light the menorah. Both men and women are obligated to participate in the candle lighting, but different communities have different customs. Some communities have the custom that every man, woman, and child will light their own menorah, while other communities have the custom where the head of the household will light while everybody is present. And that's it. Now that you know how to do it, it's time to do it yourself.
DIY, bitch. Have you seen that? I'm sure. Pretty sure. I'm not sure if anything is. All I know is that we gotta have Havdalah, then we gotta fucking daven, then we gotta daven showers, then we gotta fucking do this shit again. You're fired. Go fuck yourself.